Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo. Ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no fight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. Man, has it been a little crazy.
It has.
Oh,
Well, another week over, so it's getting better.
right. Another week over. We're getting a little more in control. Things are getting better. It's been a launch weekend, so we haven't really lost much.
Yeah.
The launch has been good. I've been playing with things. And then, we've got, a number of things going on in the news. The Senate this morning pushed ahead to the Respect for Marriage Act, which is an important act that needs to get passed, and we need to get passed quickly. Like, get it to Biden's desk before Christmas is the vote. Because that will give us, both interracial couples and same-sex couples, the right to legally marry. As we learned, and everyone else did, just because the Supreme Court rules on it doesn't mean it actually happens.
Yes. So we'll hope that gets through in plenty of time. Like, Merry Christmas if it does, and, well, coal in your stocking if it doesn't.
Right. But the still doesn't give plural marriage anything. Doesn't even give equity yet. So not everyone's going to have the free right to marry. It's still a class citizenship, but at least it's something.
Oh, though it looks like U.S. bishops are concerned gay marriage bill will push reasonable and sincere religious objectors. There's one.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
So, yeah, Catholic bishops in the U.S. are concerned that the recent bill seeking to federally recognize same-sex marriages, quote, fails to provide affirmative protections for those with religious objections. So the Respect for Marriage Act, which advanced through the U.S. Senate on Thursday, repeals the 1996 Defense of Marriage Act, passed under former President Clinton, which allowed states to refuse recognition of same-sex marriages from other states. The DOMA was already rendered functionally overturned with the Supreme Court's 2015 decision in Overfell v. Hodges. I do what? Oh, so basically the act just codifies the Overfell ruling.
Right.
And yeah, which is exactly what the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops wrote Thursday. That's a direct quote from them.
Right.
The Conference of Bishops expressed concerns that the religious exemptions outlined in Overfell would be undermined by the new legislation.
Good. It needs to be overmined. Clergy, get your shit together.
Yep, they're still pushing the whole one man, one woman.
Yeah, get over it.
I mean, literally, that was the quote. So, yeah, the bill needs 60 votes to clear a filibuster, which it is likely to get.
Right.
So, yeah. Although advocates for the bill worked on an amendment to add religious protections and clarify that it would not legalize polygamous marriages.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
That is apparently with substantive input from Republicans.
Yes.
Because in a somehow that's the most pressing concern for Republicans right now. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So, quote, the bill is a bad deal for the many courageous Americans of faith and no faith who continue to believe and uphold the truth about marriage in the public square today, said Cardinal Timothy Dolan of the Archdiocese of New York. I'm sorry, who of not having faith? Please
Here's
raise your hand.
Though, we have the opposite side of something. Guess who is backing it? LDS.
Oh, the Mormon Church?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Does the Mormon Church just go, whatever the fuck the bishops say, we're going to say the opposite?
Well, I'm trying to get to the St. Louis one.
Oh, they don't want to have to marry their mistresses, says Brenda. I hear that. Hey, Brenda, how you doing tonight? Oh, so yeah.
Give me a minute to get to it, because sorry, Salt Lake, I am not paying you $37.
Oh, I don't know. The LDS Church shows up at the weirdest moments.
Right.
It's sort of like when the Methodist, like not quite as rare as when the Methodist Church shows up and they get pissed. Like, can we point that out? Like, that's only ever happened like once.
Right. LDS shifts on same-sex marriage is overdue but important by couples harmed by decades of oppression. The church is a little late to join the right side of history as a matter, but doesn't mean the shift isn't impossible to Latter-day Saints who have marginalized and forced to choose between their religion and who they are. Right, Grayer, the church, blah, blah, blah. The LDS shift on same-sex marriage won't make a practical difference in how the country views the issue. The majority of Americans already support same-sex, but it could make a difference for those who have been impacted by decades of local and financial oppression, recognized as a civil right. Maggie students grew up in Union County, felt a guilt and denial, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so LDS is backing this bill. What?
What?
What? The ones who tried to do conversion therapy founded it.
I guess when they finally got with it, they really got with it.
It's interesting.
I don't know. I mean, it is interesting. It is interesting. Like, legislation always makes strange bedfellows, and that has never been truer except here. So I don't know. Maybe they were looking for the religious protections and were happy with what was there. I don't know. It's a weird bill for them to be like, yeah, we're down with that.
Right.
Either that, or maybe it's just one of those moments of like, well, it's anti-polygamy, and we've been looking soft on that, so let's like.
Well, it does kind of solve a battle for the moment. For LDS versus fundamental LDS. So maybe that would overturn that battle and go, see, you're still illegal.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of sad when like, you know, there's when standard LDS is just not conservative enough for you. You need fundamentalist LDS.
Right.
Like, can I just take a moment and pause on that and go, okay, moving right along.
For those that don't understand that battle, that's the same battle the Baptists have against the Southern Baptist. Fundamentalists held to the law, to the belief in plural marriage, belief in polyamory, and the non-fundamentals, the ones that moved on with the church, went and denied plural marriage, dissolving plural marriage. Now, I understand why the Mormon Church got into plural marriage. Well, into the business of plural marriage.
I mean, that's a real like interesting read of the Bible to get to plural marriage. I will say that one.
Well,
Like, I mean, it sort of is supported biblically. It is supported.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think that was quite what they meant in terms of how it was worded originally in the Bible. I think it was more like because the idea was like is more commonly rooted in like, you know, if your brother passes, you take his wife as your own. And
No.
I would read that more as like you still keep them in your family, you treat them like your own, not go marry your brother's wife.
Oh, you have to go back a few books in the Bible.
Oh, few more from that one. Okay.
Yeah, you have to actually go back either into Genesis or Numbers, and it talks about taking wives.
Oh.
And the point of that was that you can only take as many wives as you can afford to take care of.
Yeah, but we're still Old Testament on that one. Like, did
Yeah.
someone miss the New Testament? Is that the LDS problem? Is they're like, no, it's just the Old Testament for us. Thanks.
No, that's the biblical supporting of plural marriage.
Yeah.
In the King James Version, I will clarify, King James Version, not the apostate version, not the Pearls of Great Peace, not the Book of Mormon. The King James Version is what I'm talking about. So let's move along in history, and we have other cult, and that's also where some Muslim sects get the right to plural marriage. Okay, is from that because it's also in the Quran. Some Jewish sects abandoned that practice many centuries ago.
Yeah, but there's still like the ultra orthodox, isn't there? That still like not only is the plural marriage, it's also the I don't know what else to call it, child bride marriage.
Arranged marriage.
No, not arranged exactly as much as it is like you can marry off your 12-year-old daughter to a 50-year-old man.
Right. That is not currently practiced.
In most Jewish sects. Now I think there is still some of the ultra orthodox that still support that.
Right. Maybe because it's almost non-existent. That doesn't mean it doesn't still happen.
Right. And I'm not calling it like this is an everyday event. Like all through New York, there are tons of Jews married to children.
Right.
I'm talking about like a very small fringe group, sort of like we're talking about with the fundamentalist LDS.
Right.
Like it's a much smaller portion of the total.
Yeah. I'll send you this article quickly on that section. But the way the LDS got into it was actually a tactic of survival. Because as they're making their running from religious persecution across the United States.
Yes.
Of course, most of the men died or was arrested. So you have women here that have no rights. They can't own property. They can't even hold a bank account without a male involved, and they've got like 16, 20 children. So it began the practice of taking multiple wives to support those wives without men. And then that's during the 1800s thing is when they disavowed it. And that chart caused a fraction within LDS into multiple sects, and the fundamentalists kept it when it was no longer necessary.
Okay. Oh. Hi, I popped up somewhere.
Yeah.
That was loud.
Yeah.
Alrighty. But yeah, no, so I'm reading through the Jewish history on polygamy, and technically it's not outlawed.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Until like Like, it goes back and forth. Like, the Torah doesn't outlaw polygamy. And then approximately 1,000 years ago, German scholar Rabbi Gershom, in the light of the diaspora, banned polygamy. This ban was accepted as law by Ashkenazic Jews, but not recognized by Sephardic and Yemenite communities.
Right.
Hopefully, I didn't trash any of those pronunciations.
Right.
But it's effectively non-existent today.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not legal or socially acceptable for most of the societies they live in.
Right.
Yeah, so basically this was instituted to prevent people from taking advantage of their wives, intended to avoid potential fighting between rival wives, and was concerned lest the husband be unable to provide properly for all his wives.
Right.
And let's see, a concern that a man may marry two wives in different locations, which may lead to forbidden relationships between offspring. And yeah, but apparently not adopted from Christian practice and laws.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there were rules, like you could not take on more than you as a man could afford. Meaning, if you can support one wife, then you can't take on two. If you could, and that's what Solomon had 500 wives. He could afford them; they were his jewels. But it's interesting taking on this and then looking at how the things are progressing ahead of time.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just curious. I wanted to check the yeah. Oh yeah, it is. The child bride thing is a little known but very real problem in America.
Yeah.
So, like, and this article is from 2017, from The World.
Right.
When she was 10, Safia Majeben started skipping school. She used to ride the New York City subways aimlessly. I just love riding the train, she says. You ride from one end to the other, etc. For Majeben, this was a rare taste of freedom. She came from a very strict, tight-knit Bangladeshi Muslim. Oh, whoops.
Yep.
That's the Muslim version.
Yeah.
Sorry. Excuse me, guys. So apparently it's Hasidic Jews.
Yeah.
There we go. I couldn't get the word out mentally. It was there. So yeah, generally not done until the age of 18, but arranging marriages between children as young as 15. And that is from, I don't even know what this is. Anyway. So yeah.
Then you have the Muslims. Muslim society allows up to 4 wives, but does not specificate rules or regulations. And it's very common. Fewer than 1% of Muslim men live with more than one spouse in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Belize, and Egypt, all countries where the practice is legal, at least for Muslims. Okay. And then you have the pagan view, which is the one I practice, which is love who you want, make your commitments, and hold your commitments. And then, I don't know, what's the atheist view?
I don't think there is one specific view. I think there's an understanding.
Right.
that, you know, if this makes sense for you and it doesn't harm anyone, everyone's a consenting adult, you know, live and let live. But those are some very big key obstacles to overcome. It doesn't hurt anyone. Everyone is consenting.
Right.
You know, the child bride thing is often the bigger deal.
Right.
Like that's where, you know,
And that's where I have the problem overall with all of it. Is the arranged marriages, and that's what they are. They're arranged. They're an arrangement between the parents, not the parties. That's my issue.
Absolutely.
That, and I deserve a higher dowry.
What?
I deserve a higher dowry.
I don't know. I thought one old goat for one old goat was fair.
Keep it up, and I'm going to be sending someone to a glue factory. So it's interesting that, you know, they're clearing out the way that polyamory, you know, polygamy and polyamory, you still won't be recognized by this right. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're still struggling on that concept. Like, I just don't think. I don't know. We're. It's kind of a big swing from like the outrage side of it, and considering its unfortunate association with like religious cults.
Right. And that's mainly in the United States.
Yeah.
That's in the United States because, you know, Islam, Hindu, and even some Christian countries, polyamory is a normal practice or otherwise tolerated. Some Native American, Indigenous Australians, and Malaysian people practice group marriage, where a nuclear family consists of multiple husbands and multiple wives. So this is going to be an interesting debate. And it might, you know, we have the Respect for Marriage Act to go through. Now, if we look at the lifespan of a law,
yeah, Brenda's telling me to get busy. He's sounding like dragon instead of bear. He wants a horde of bling. You know, I kind of missed the after Halloween sale where I could have gotten all the gold coins. So I'm having to wait till Christmas and get them then. So yeah, he's going to be a little dragony for a little while. Just saying.
Yeah, I know, but I'm also, you know, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if someone from a Hindu faith or an Islamic traditional faith will challenge it as much as the Christians do on religious freedom.
Yeah. I don't yeah. Meanwhile, I just keep seeing the Catholic churches popping into this as at the wrong point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, here's the question: do they have as much sway as they used to after, you know, their scandals?
No, I don't think they do. Like, I think they're on a severe numbers decline.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Well, all churches severe numbers decline. You know, if it wasn't for the old ladies paying the power bills, we'd see a lot more of them up for sale.
Oh yeah. Well, it was 23% of the United States population in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, 25% of Americans said they were Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And the U.S. has the fourth largest Catholic population in the world after Brazil, Mexico, and the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
Right.
it's not doing as bad
Right. And
as one would have thought.
well, and then I wonder because if anybody is watching Sister Wives, which I've been a little obsessed here lately,
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing the problems that incur.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone knows that Christine divorced, left Cody. There's rumors that Janelle may have left Cody. But the problem with Janelle leaving Cody is that she doesn't have any assets in her name. It's all in the family company name.
And I'm sure there's no dissolution process that doesn't involve Cody dies.
I'm not sure they even plan for a dissolution because looking at the messiness of Christine's dissolution of the agreement, she's still in a contract with TLC for 2 years. She's coming, but it's already been confirmed they're filming season 18. And she's back in Flagstaff. Hi, Tracy. But there is poor dissolution of a relationship that does not have legal boundaries.
Basically, well, and I think fundamentally, if you go to court on it, you just have to treat it like a business, and
Right.
she's stepping out of the business.
Right.
Like that's all you can do at that point is forget the marriage. I hate to say it this way, but for all intent and purpose, it's not a marriage.
Right.
It can't be a marriage because if they treat it as a marriage, then well, he's a bigamist.
Yes.
With multiple wives, and it's going to be way more complicated.
Right. Which I found interesting is he wanted to take Christine. He didn't want lawyers involved because they had to have a child custody agreement, but didn't want lawyers involved in the child custody agreement because anyway, it was just this big thing. And I'm like, dude, you're fucking up.
He doesn't want. Well, he doesn't want lawyers involved for a child custody agreement. Because if the court gets involved, I think it's going to end up in a situation of you're going to have CPS breathing down their necks over the whole situation. Like this is their end.
Right.
Like, if any of the women allege abuse, if any of the women allege any kind of problem, CPS is going to want to jerk all the children.
Right.
So they can evaluate all the children and figure out the best place for them to be.
Right.
And potentially they're going to want all of them to have nothing to do with Cody in order to make that work.
Right.
So, he goes from like 4 wives to 3 wives to 2 wives. And soon it's just it's like the worst version of 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians. I swear to God. Well, it is.
It is.
Like it just keeps dwindling.
Yeah.
Like right now it's sister wife.
Yeah.
That's what
basically Robin.
Wife. Yeah, there's 2. It's sister wife, not sister wives.
Yes.
Plural. It's sister wife. So yeah.
Well, and if you listen to him and how he talks about his first wife, well, he's no longer the first wife. Robin's now the first wife. Mary, who was the first wife he married, and then divorced to marry Robin.
I need a chart.
It ain't that hard, honey.
It's kind of that hard.
It isn't. There's 4 wives. He was legally married to his first wife, Mary. And then he divorced Mary to marry Robin to adopt her kids so that they could get them away from the stepfather.
Okay.
But he couldn't do that if he was still legally married to Mary. And then Mary got caught in a catfishing scheme. So he said, I don't like you, but I'm not, he doesn't, in the way their polyamory is, their polygamy is set up, he can't divorce. The wife has to divorce.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was an interesting concept in their negotiations. If a wife wants to leave, fine, but I don't have a right to tell her to leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's basically in a spiritual marriage with her, and she doesn't want to leave, but she got caught in a catfishing scandal, and he really doesn't want anything to do with her.
But is still married to her as long as she doesn't want to leave.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes no sense at all. But alrighty, that was a choice that one has made.
Yeah. Yeah. He sits her aside.
Yeah, I no. I this is why I struggle with anytime someone goes, well, see what a mess polyamory is. It's like, oh, see, no.
See, our relationship isn't this way, guys. Like, I've been
I
watching
don't think most poly relationships are not this fucked up.
No.
There's a few, don't get me wrong, they exist, they're out there, that's,
Right.
But for most people, they're sitting here going, wait, what?
Yeah.
Why would you? Okay. We'll just, all right, that's your deal. That's what you've chosen. It's a mess. You've made a mess.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be ugly. It's creating problems.
Right.
Seems like a very screwed up arbitrary rule to have.
But it's one they agreed to.
It's one they agreed to.
And
I'm just saying.
But Christine divorced. She sold her house. She's moved out of Flagstaff, took the kid, went back to Utah. It's been interesting.
Oh, I'm sure. Hey, Alexandria. So Alexandria says, I don't think I could do poly relationships. However, sister wives, yikes.
Poly relationships aren't that difficult. They actually work really well for me. And I think for you.
Well, technically non-monogamous relationships work for me.
Right.
Like, that's normally my bigger...
Mm-hmm.
That's been my bigger dating malfunction.
Right.
Is like, I've always been honest and upfront about that, and generally it leads to, like, anger, heartbreak, and tears, because somehow when I say I'm not down with a monogamy,
right,
someone hears, and I mean this multiple times as this occurred, someone ends up hearing, well, if I just wait and we spend more time together and we'll get more serious, and then, like, basically, it's a phase. And it's like, it's not a phase.
Right.
It's not a phase. Like, I'm not going to spend 6 months with anyone and be like, yeah, monogamy is totally for me. That's exactly what's going to work in this situation.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll let you explain our version of polyamory.
Oh, okay.
And how it's different than sister wives.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hi, I'm Dottie the Psychic, and I'm sure you're wondering why I'm not wearing any makeup. Well, one reason is to irritate my social media manager, Aeson Knight. Hi, Aeson. The other reason is because I like to get to the naked truth about what it means to be a neurodivergent LGBT person with psychic abilities. I've got vlogs, blogs, and podcasts and videos all related to trying to live my best life and helping witches and bitches do the same thing. So, you can check all that out and get a reading from Dottie the Psychic at DOTTIE-thepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.
Do you have a cute pet? We know you do. Each week, Tracy Van chooses from submitted photos a featured reader for her Facebook page and provides a tarot reading. Your adorable pet cat, dog, rabbit, goat, chicken, snake, or more could be her next featured reader. Visit tracyvan.com, TracyVann.com, and click Featured Reader to submit. We look forward to seeing your pet next.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here, and I am here to tell you how to get in contact with me and a little bit about what I do. I am the High Priestess that works with shadow work to help you grow and heal. And I work with access bars, Reiki, I do power forms. I'm recently getting into crystal healing, sound therapy as well. So you can go to Lady Gwendolyn Healing, that is LadyGwendolynHealing.com. Book your appointment with me. I do in person, I do over the phone, I do over Zoom. We can do that as well. My main goal is to help you grow and heal because I've been there. I'm still going through it, and let my strength help guide you. See you soon.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
All right, welcome back. Okay, so we're going to discuss comparing our poly to TLC sister wives polygamy.
Okay.
So go for it.
Well, one, if you look at sister wives, it's all about, one man, multiple wives. So it's one, basically it's one enormous hinge relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And hinge relationships in and of themselves are fine. It is kind of the defining part of polygamy normally.
Mm-hmm.
One man, multiple wives. Second part usually seems to be this hierarchical concept. There's a first wife, a second wife, a third wife, a fourth wife. And that's literally seemingly how they go through this relationship. Like, at least in the first wife and then the other wives. Like, there's the legal marriage wife who tends to be, like, at the helm or whatever of all of it. And then the other wives are just expected to fall in pecking order.
Right.
Like, welcome to your seniority situation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, that's not how that works. I mean, that's what they're doing, but I'm saying, like, for us, this is not how that works.
Not how it works.
That's not how most polyamory works.
Yeah.
In general, like, again, there's few that try the hierarchical thing. Pretty much guarantee you're going to end up in a massive fight.
Yeah.
Like,
before the day's out.
Well, before the day's out, and certainly long term, it's going to end up in a blow up. Like, every time I've seen relationships that are founded that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it usually starts with they were a couple for like 5, 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then they decided together they were going to find the perfect partner for them for a closed triad.
Mm-hmm.
And
no. The other thing there is the wives aren't allowed to date.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not us. We don't do that.
No.
So whereas we're both technically in a hinge, you're both technically in a hinge situational cube.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is more like a star.
Well,
they,
yeah, and that's kind of harder.
mhm.
Especially with the sister wives concept, because I mean, it probably makes more sense at the beginning if I remember correctly, because at the beginning, weren't they all in separate houses?
No, they all
And
lived in
then,
one mega house. Now they're in separate houses.
okay, I got it backwards. All
Yep.
right, so the original version, well, okay, now is probably a little closer.
Right.
Is that, well, if you count the number if you count the number of relationships you are in based solely on the house,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, there's some similarities, but there's a ton of differences. But then you also have to realize, like, no, you have other relationships going on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you do.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So one, we don't do the fucking hierarchical thing because that won't work. If we go
no.
by seniority, nothing will get decided in this house.
No.
Other than, turn on the Xbox. Sorry, calling it out, Invisible Assistant.
Probably. But no, I mean, there's a lot to that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, there's the differential between, like, I will say there's a fair amount of separation and differentiation between the relationships and the relationship types.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from, like, your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some people are they're more sexual partners than they are dating partners.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, like, if we were going by seniority, outrank us by I don't know, a decade or so, maybe two. At this point, I don't know.
Common outranks by 15 years. Then we go to Invisible, who's going on 11 on the 10th of December.
Right.
And then me and you, which is going on 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we wanna, and then we're in casual dating for the rest. Like there's no anniversaries.
Yeah. Well, but you've got a plethora of, like, because you tend to relationship more than you just have casual situations.
Right.
I'm mostly a casual situation that I don't know, kicking and screaming, got drug into a relationship. Do what?
You've done it.
I know it. I'm just saying, like, that's personality wise, that's me though. It's like, I wasn't really looking for one relationship, let alone to have like 20.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's just no.
Yeah.
Like, I actually described, like, my ideal situation to someone I was dating at one point. And they're like, so you basically want a lifelong roommate with, like, that's your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not looking for marriage. Well, and this was at that exact moment. It was like, I'm not looking for marriage. I'm not really looking for, like, to lock anyone down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're free to leave at any point. Like, we split the utilities and, like, keep yours, mine, and ours. And, like, that was my whole thing. And they just looked at me and was like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And, it was kind of interesting considering how their previous relationship ended.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a dating borderlining a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they weren't married, but it was so damn close.
Uh-huh.
Like, everything was commingled. There was, like, damn near a child custody over the pets.
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, just every aspect of it was like intermingled. There was a whole process to separate them off of each other's vehicles. There was a whole process to get out of leases and investments. And like they had done everything but go to the courthouse and get the stupid marriage license.
Right.
In terms of like paperwork.
Right. Which we aren't there yet. We'll get there eventually. We'll do the adjustment. Form a corporation and give equal partnerships to the corporation. I'll put the assets into the corporation. Yeah. Like we haven't done that yet. That's how Sister Wives should have done it. They didn't. They've been playing hockey puck with quick claim deeds for many years.
Do what?
Oh, hockey puck. Oh, you want to get a loan, so I'll put the house in your name. You go get the loan because you have the better credit score. Okay, we pay off that loan, and I want to go buy a car, so I'll put the house back into my name, raise my credit score, go buy the car. Like, they've been moving assets around and all types of shit. I mean, it's been
so the bank doesn't really know who the fuck they're lending to. They're just looking at a portfolio of assets going, you're good.
Yeah.
While not paying attention to the fact that this other borrower
just filed bankruptcy or whatever. Yeah. They've been playing what I call coal mine company finances.
Basically. Yeah. For those of you who aren't familiar, that's the newest thing in West Virginia. Is a bunch of coal companies got sick and tired of this long-term commitment to their employees and the pensions. And so now they do this fun thing where they create a new company. They move all of the liabilities into that company. And the previous company or a different company keeps all the assets. So then you have this company that has all liabilities, no assets, including all the pensions. And of course, it is insolvent.
Right.
Because it has no assets.
Right. So anyhow, the difference is we have mine, yours, and his, and ours. Asset-wise, we have each relationship has its own agreement between the parties in the relationship. And currently, none of my current star pattern hinge has interlinking hinges, but they are free to form their own hinges. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's its own thing. It's really... And all of this sounds complicated until we get to the easy version of my boyfriend has a boyfriend, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And then suddenly everyone gets it. Like, what's a hinge relationship? We try to explain it from your side. No one gets it.
Right.
Either one of us can explain it from our side and go, my boyfriend has a boyfriend, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And suddenly everyone's like, oh. And I'm like, that's a hinge relationship. That's how that works. Dupe, dupe.
Or dupe, 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 dupe.
Yeah. Like trying to get into the configurations is a little weird, but if you can get the basic hinge understanding.
Right.
Everything after that is kind of like, just imagine you interlocked a bunch of hinges.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically it. Imagine you're a kid playing with hinges and some nuts and bolts. And you just, like, keep interlocking pieces. And that's it. That's a hinge relationship. That's all there is to it.
Which is interesting because the new dating app Hinge has actually added that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hinge goes woke. Dating app launches relationship type feature to let daters specificate if they're looking for monogamous or polyamorous partners. That's a big thing. Now, can Facebook catch up with that?
Oh, God, no. I think the closest they've ever gotten to that is it's complicated.
Yeah.
Which gives the impression that it's all complicated, and I think that's where everyone starts.
Right.
It's complicated. And it's like, it's really not that complicated.
It's really not that complicated. It's really whose department is it? Public event? Great. Joe, put it on your calendar and mark it off on my other calendars. We're going somewhere December 17th.
Do it yourself.
Fine.
You know, that's where that goes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what color pen to use.
No, this is the Google Calendar that we all share. The key to any successful poly relationship.
Verify. Because there's a Google Calendar, and then there's the paper calendar, and there's one I'll screw with, and there's one I will not touch. You can figure out which one's which. I'll play with Google. I will do that all day long. If he gets mad, he can recolor code it, and it's just all fine again. It's complicated as everyone that's alive. Yes, Brenda, it is.
It is. And I think that was your biggest brain explode during the negotiation.
What?
You get a new boyfriend, I want a new pen.
Yeah, that was just like, yeah, great. We're running out of colors in the rainbow already. Because you have to color code everything.
Yes.
Like, no, he has a different pen for everything. I'm not kidding. It's insane. Like, I don't know how he tells the difference between some shades of blue anymore. It's just like there's orange and red, and you know, and it's just like, okay, I don't even know how you tell this apart to make any sense of it, but you have fun with that. It works for him.
Exactly.
So, you know, and that's what it is.
Right.
But I think the biggest it's complicated we've truly honestly had was recently, semi-recently, when your ex showed up. Because he and his current at the time, a little foreshadowing there, him and his current were in the process of being evicted from his father's home. And their car had broken down, and can you please help us out, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, at the point in which I am driving your ex to, from, and everywhere else, one, it's complicated, applied. And two, more importantly, two, I am pretty sure I should have been granted sainthood immediately on that one. Like, oh, help transport your ex and his new current boyfriend. Okay.
Yeah. Current at that boyfriend. Which that is. Yeah, T moved off to a lovely relationship. He seems to be doing well from what we hear. So those that on Psychic the Plans, I will no longer have to be used the Rosetta Red because I no longer need to put T into my calendar.
Yes, exactly. So now the only T in your calendar is the T you will be spilling on others.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, I mean that wasn't it's
complicated though.
Oh, that was complicated.
No.
That was a little complicated.
Go back 14 years. There's me and Steve and me and Josh and me, Steve and Michael and Brandon, Brian and Michael and Rob, all dealing like it looked like a science experiment when we done the mapping of this. Actually, it looked like I went crazy and just started doodling. That's complicated.
Yeah. I'll do it.
Yeah.
No, that can be a little much. Especially if you're like sharing housing, it's a lot less complicated. I will say it's a lot less complicated. If like everyone lives independently or most live independently, and there's just cross-linking relationships, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It really truly is kind of like Sister Wives like showed the nation.
Yeah.
When you put everyone in the same house.
Yes. That's when
it all. Well, that's like just among like the co-relationship members. Like, I'm not going to use wives. It really isn't appropriate. But in the co-relationships, the multitude of relationships, it's complicated enough when you're just referring to the adults in the actual relationships. When you start adding children,
18 of them,
like that's when it's like, wait, hold on. Who's the? Okay, we know who. Well, we thought we knew who Daddy was because apparently there's some kids from other relationships and
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, oh God, we're gonna be here a minute trying to diagram all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And that's where dinner is on the table at 5 if you're eating came from.
Yep.
Yeah, that's basically where that came from. Is, dinner's on the table at 5 if you're eating.
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
Yep. That is where dinner is on the table at 5. I don't cook breakfast. That's someone else's job. I came from. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh, but no, it's really typically it's not that complicated.
It isn't.
With Google Calendar, I will say that helps a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I feel sorry for our forefathers who had to do this on paper and chalkboards, because that's the only way I could see this working out is someone with a chalkboard and a lot of colored chalk.
Mm-hmm.
Just going, all right. Here we go.
Right.
We're going to draw this out. We're
Yeah.
going to be here for a while. We're going to need more.
Yes. But no, my relationships are quite simple. How's your relationship with your roommate, I guess we have decided? Is that the term you two have decided to use?
It's the one I've kind of used because I don't know, Meta just gets into it too quick.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, some sentences are like, well, my roommate, the invisible assistant, has to go to work and, I have to take him.
Uh-huh.
That sentence really doesn't change
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot in meaning if I use Meta over roommate.
Yeah.
Except now I have to take 20 minutes to explain to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my boyfriend's boyfriend has to go to work. And then there's this whole conversation that follows on with how does that work? And y'all live together? And like, and it's like, I just want to get through the simple sentence of my roommate has to go to work.
Right. But how does it, we see a lot of fighting, a lot of jealousy between Robin and everyone else. Mm-hmm. How does your Meta relationship work?
Yeah, generally no. On the fighting,
I can think of 2 fights you two have gotten into.
Yeah, I know, but that's in like 5 years.
Yeah, I'm saying I can think of 2 fights you two have gotten into.
And even then, it's like, more like we've hit the wrong nerve somewhere.
Yeah, it was hit the wrong nerve.
And like, I mean, comparatively for like roommates
into the relationship, and that was a communicational issue.
Mm-hmm.
That went way out of place. And then the other one was during a very stressful time during the move-in.
Yeah. Which again,
mm-hmm.
Like, so no, I mean, otherwise, like, it's not this never-ending argument or complaint or anything like that. I mean,
jealousy fit.
No, I don't think jealousy is really it.
Yeah, y'all go through jealousy.
I mean, I think we both commonly agree on "Take My Husband, Please."
Or it's your day to deal with him.
Or like, Christ, can we at least draw short straws for today? Like, give me hope. I need hope this morning. Isn't it your turn yet? Like, I had him for night shift. All right. You get him for day shift. Like, I can't take anymore. Take him. Take my husband, please. So, like, we joke about that. Though some days it's a little truer than others. I have to admit, it's a little truer than others.
Yeah, when there's a lot of husband stuff to do, you two kind of do well with it. Like I'm starting to even get laughable over it. So the invisible assistant is used to being the invisible assistant. Let me set the scene. Let me do my Sicily 1984. So the invisible assistant was used to, laying out the wardrobes, getting my stuff ready for shows. That's his deal.
Yeah.
Department, don't piss on his department. He hates going out in public, but he at least likes making sure Aeson has everything together.
Yeah. Well, and there was an add-on situation there is separate houses, separate events, separate things going on. And then, you had to get ready for an event, and you were now at a point where it's like, I don't know what to do. And, because you don't.
Right.
Like, someone else has been handling this. I thought at one point, am I going to have to actually physically dress you?
Right.
Because you looked confused. And it's like, I'm drawing a line there. Like, he may leave the house looking like a kindergartner whose mama don't give a shit. But the dude is 30-some years old. If he can't pull it together, he needs to learn.
Right. But we were going to a couple event. And I don't remember what the two of you had agreed on, but I was getting ready for the event.
Okay.
You had commented that you were going to go and get me dressed, which means basically you were going to go figure out what we were wearing.
Yeah, I was going to throw clothes at you and walk away.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's my total interest at that situation is like, I've seen what you dressed yourself in. Excuse me, I'll be right back.
Right.
You're not wearing that to this.
Yeah, and this is one of those weekends that the Invisible had gone with me up there because we had a game night and some other things. So Joe makes a comment he's going to go get me dressed, which basically means he's pulling clothes out for me and making sure I've got the proper jewelry or whatever I was supposed to be wearing at the time. Oh my God, you would have thought the invisible assistant had been set on fire.
Yes, basically. Fire in the clothing department, fire in the clothing department.
Yeah, because he had been acting as my stylist. He had been pulling clothes. He had been laying things out. He had been prepping the prep case. He had been prepping the food to go to the party.
Yeah, well, but see, I was missing most of that.
Yeah, because you were
I didn't live here.
Yeah.
I'm in another house, and most of the time when you showed up, it was because, one, you had dressed yourself, and bless its heart, and two, then you got there and you had this bag of clothes, and when you get that little kit, I don't know, they may not still make these for kids, but when we were kids they had them, where you could combine, it had all the different outfits for the little paper doll, and his version of it was I'm gonna do a suit coat with shorts and stilettos. And it's that doesn't go together.
Right.
You cannot.
Yeah, because he would just put whatever he thought I needed that weekend in my bag.
Well, yeah, and I think there was a plan of outfits.
Yeah.
But then you just shuffled them.
Well, no, I just opened it up and it's
I grabbed a shirt, I grabbed shorts, I grabbed shoes.
Yes.
Yay! I dressed myself.
Yeah.
And a few times it was me looking at you going, you cannot wear that out of this house.
Yeah.
Turn it around.
Yeah.
Try again.
Yeah.
I hope there are better choices in that bag than what you have made.
Yeah. Because I dress for comfort. I always have. But no. So, yeah, that was the first time I seen the invisible assistant get because apparently he had planned out the outfits
in advance. Well, and
for
again,
everybody.
I don't know this at that point. I'm just sitting here because, again, I just thought you had done one, didn't know what the deal was, but I thought you had just were grabbing crap out randomly,
right?
And I need shirts, pants, shoes, and underwear, and and you just went whoop and thunk, like a dirty laundry basket or like a clean laundry basket unfolded.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just gone in, went scoop, and put it in a duffel bag.
Yeah.
Because that's what it kept looking like happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's the rhyme and reason for this man? Like, you cannot combine those
Well, I
items.
remember when that happened. That's when I moved to actually having drawers at the Princeton house.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we started playing the shuffling of clothes, and that got insane.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when he comes grouching, "Where's your blue shirt?" Which blue shirt? I have 5.
The one that he eternally puts you in because he likes it and you hate it.
Yes, and thank God that has died.
No, it hasn't. You wore it the other day.
No, that blue shirt has died.
No, it hasn't. You wore it the other day. Oh, no! Everything keeps saying no video here when I click plants ass here. Oh,
Yes,
no.
Shannon, how are you? I don't know what the deal is.
Alrighty, you may want to go check us on YouTube. If oh well, we should probably message that to her.
Yeah.
You send it.
Go check. We were playing around earlier.
Yeah, we might have broke stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, we might have broke. But yeah, so that's the difference.
And I don't even remember what the other argument was about, but that was the worst one you two ever had.
Was that New Year's Eve?
Possibly.
Yeah, no, I just wasn't in a mood that night to be joked with. And, like, I don't know. I was cold. I was tired. Like, we were absolutely frozen through on that New Year's Eve. And I just was not in a mood. Like, I was bone chill cold. And I just didn't want to deal with anyone or anything at that point.
Right.
And it was like, can we just go?
Yeah.
And yeah, that there was a moment when they decided to be funny, and normally I would have found it funny. But in that moment, it was like, just no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I was like, because it was so damn cold that New Year's. Jesus.
Well, you're the
like
one.
they were trying to do ice sculpting, and this was in Princeton on Mercer Street. They were trying to do ice sculpting for some little event. And I'm pretty sure that they were having trouble getting the ice, or like it was like fire ice thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they were doing that, and they were like literally having trouble getting enough heat on the ice to get the ice to melt.
Right.
With a blowtorch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was cold.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just, and I was doing good. I was a trooper for like the first 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
And then somewhere around hour 3 of the event, like I was done.
Mm-hmm.
And by that point, we were like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes away from New Year's. And I was literally like, just like, we are going over to the town square. We are watching the ball drop, and then we're getting the fuck out of here because I'm done.
Yeah.
Is where mentally I was, but I was still trying to be like, oh, hi, how's it going? How's everyone doing?
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, just in that moment, it was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. But no. So what's the biggest drawback to your relationship of my relationships?
Rerun that sentence?
What's the biggest drawback of your relationship to my relationships?
Oh.
Like, we always talk the positives. What's the biggest drawback?
I don't know. I think sometimes when it's like you're having issues in one of those, or you're feeling something negative in one of those, or like something's gone wrong. Let's just go with that. Something goes wrong in one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's that moment where it's like, I'm not allowed to fix it because it's not my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk with you about it and potentially give advice. I can't gang up on that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of becomes a little bit harder to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be one of those moments where, like, what I really want to say is, how dare that motherfucker pull that stunt?
Mm-hmm.
Like, goddamn them, let's go beat their ass.
Right.
And then I have to remember, no, you're not allowed to say that. What you're allowed to say is, oh, that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, how you're feeling about that.
Right.
But, if you want to talk about it and get some advice, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you just want support while you're upset about it, we can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's not really what I want to say, but that's like the required statements.
Uh-huh.
Like, and you do have to kind of catch yourself before you're like, that motherfucker, we're going to go beat his ass.
Right.
And I'm not saying that happens all the time and it's a great big deal and whatever else. And I think that's probably the worst part about it is, like, if it happened more, it'd be easier.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, and then also recognizing that, like, sometimes I do end up playing devil's advocate in different situations where it's like, I don't know exactly what's going on. I know your side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really like their bestie. I'm not going to really hear, except through you,
Mm-hmm.
what actually did happen or is going on or whatever. I'm not always in a position to be like, what the fuck was that? Like, I can't just ask them directly and be like, what the fuck was that?
Mm-hmm.
So then I end up in like devil's advocate. Well, maybe it's not what you really think, and maybe, like, something else is going on.
Right.
And, like, maybe you're jumping to a conclusion here. Maybe it's, they're looking like a duck and they're quacking like a duck, but they're not a duck.
Right.
And yeah, so it gets a little, all right.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'll tell you my drawback.
Oh.
It's when the husbands in the comments gang up over a situation.
Oh, yeah, no. See, you screwed up. Like, you told us we couldn't gang up on each other. You never said we couldn't gang up on you.
Exactly.
You did not specify that ever. So, yes, we take full advantage of that one.
Yes.
Like, yep. We'll have moments where we're just like, can you believe? And it's like, yeah, I know. He's been doing that for 20 damn years. I'm real sick and tired of it.
Uh-huh.
I know. He's been doing it for 10.
Yeah.
Yes. He gets ganged up on.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad.
Yeah. I get ganged up on for work schedules, which my work schedule is now more regulated than God.
That's what happens when you get born on the 8th day.
I know. See what else? What was the last thing you two ganged up? You three ganged up. Oh, dear God.
Do what now?
So Comet, Invisible Assistant, and of course Techie Joe here. Aeson's going car shopping. Aeson has a specific car he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
We all told you no.
Exactly.
Like, you had no backing on the original vehicle you wanted.
I still have no backing, but I'll own it.
Well, we all three looked at you and told you.
Uh-huh.
Like, well, actually, our first question was, are you having a midlife crisis?
Uh-huh.
Because it seems a little early.
Uh-huh.
But that seems like the appropriate car for one.
Uh-huh.
And two, are you flipping stupid?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not getting that. That is a emergency room trip, insurance claim, multiple speeding tickets waiting to happen.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. I get speeding tickets in land yachts. I don't get speeding tickets in sports cars.
No.
That are fuel efficient.
No. We're not doing it.
Okay.
Like, no, we're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, we're like, I want to put you in a putt-putt is what I want to put you in.
Honey, if you had your way, I wouldn't drive.
Well, no, technically, if I had my way, I'd put you on like horse and carriage and then hope that, you don't like shoot the horses up just to get more horsepower. Oh, Brenda says, Aeson talked to my brother. Impractical, pretty hot cars are great. He loved his vet.
Uh-huh.
See, no.
See, here's the thing. Most of the time when Aeson goes out, he's normally by himself. He goes to the grocery store. He goes to, Walmart. He goes to Joann's. He goes to meetings by himself.
If it would hold a bag of dog food, we would honestly, I would seriously support a smart car for him.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at.
Right. Yeah.
Just Brenda learned, I just don't look at the speedometer when he drives. He doesn't either.
But anyhow.
Fuel gauge, odometer, nothing. He can't see nothing between the steering wheel and the...
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
It's true.
Uh-huh. I'm not the only one that has done that here lately.
What?
I always make sure that the car's gassed up for him to go to his things.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I went out Wednesday night and got you gas for Thursday. I went out Tuesday night and got you gas for Wednesday.
You did.
I get in the car to go to my thing every Thursday, and it's always a low fuel light. Always.
No, I was good last night. I made sure you had gas.
Uh-huh.
And then I have to go to my appointment today, and I got to Mount Hope.
Uh-huh.
Which my appointment with Eric was, in Beckley.
Uh-huh.
I got to Mount Hope when the low fuel light kicked on. I started having to do mental math. Can I make it, or do I have to stop it again?
Do I need to stop and get gas? No, honey, you're great to all the way to Eric's and halfway back home. Great. Anyhow.
Hey, at least I'm specific to where you're gonna have the problem at.
Yeah.
Like, I do always try to make sure you have at least enough to get there without a problem, and then on your way home, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get you there because I know you're gonna leave here last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, Aeson's secret, y'all. Events he leaves early for. Appointments, if it takes 29 minutes to get there, he will leave with 26 minutes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And will make it up on the road.
And I normally do.
And you normally do. But the problem is you cannot, because he'll do it regardless of anything you tell him. So, or will try. So you have to make sure that he at least has gas to get there on time, knowing he's going to leave 4 minutes late.
And arrive about 3 minutes early.
Probably. But if he has to stop to get gas, there's no way that's going to happen, and he will be angry. And he will throw you under the bus for it.
Yes.
Every time. He will immediately be like, I'm running late because Joe didn't put gas in the car and I had to stop to get gas. And no, you're running late because you left at 26 minutes to get there when it takes 29 minutes to get there and
technically it takes 22 minutes to get there.
Uh-huh.
So let's talk about this Darrell Brooks case,
Okay.
and then we're going to go to break and come back with, are you the asshole?
Oh, well, I'm sure you'll decide I am.
We'll see.
All right, so Darrell Brooks received 6 consecutive life sentences plus more than 700 additional years in prison for Waukesha. Is that it?
For the
Waukesha?
Christmas parade shooting.
Yeah, Christmas parade attack.
Now, I've watched this case. This has been
Yes.
part of my daytime TV. Thank you, Emily D. Baker,
Mhm.
who streamed it.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Like, I was questioning if she was streaming like a soap opera with a sovereign citizen idiot.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's basically what it's been. One thing I do want to know, if Emily Baker has said yet, is does she expect with a competent attorney who can shut him the hell up for 15 minutes, that he's basically going to be able to appeal the hell out of this?
No.
No.
Like, there's video evidence. The judge in this, which I want to give a whole cup of coffee to and a bottle of whiskey, covered everything, put it on the record. Like, it is lock, stock, and barrel. He can't go for a bad attorney because he was his own attorney. He's filed a notion of appeal, and he was in court today. He was in court today for a notion of appeal, but there's a problem with they couldn't find it because, of course, he wrote it on notebook paper and sent it to the court.
Okay.
Yeah. And where he got such a large sentence, they've put him on suicide watch. But they're going to try, but I don't think it'll go anywhere. And then he has another case in another 2 cases in another state. So that's going to be hard to watch. Interesting, but complicated to watch.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just sitting here going, I don't think he can be. The whole reason I asked that was because I'm just sitting here after what bits and pieces I've seen, and I'm going, you can't, like, you may be able to like strongly argue he was, competent to stand trial, but he was not capable of aiding in his defense.
But he's the one that chose to.
I mean, fair enough, but I mean, he would have done better just standing up at the, original hearing and being like, I'm guilty, let's go to sentencing.
Yeah.
Like, if that had been all he had said,
right,
between arrest and, like, sentencing,
right,
was, I'm guilty, let's go to sentencing.
Right.
He might have gotten a whole life sentence out of it.
Yeah.
With a possibility of parole.
Yeah. No.
I think he could have. I mean, it's a horrible event and horrible, but a lot of this was made worse.
Right.
By him and the shit that he has said and the way he's treated the trial and everything else. I don't fault the jury or the judge in like, yeah, he's guilty on everything, and then here is the literal maximums on every charge.
Right.
Like, but honestly, if he had shown up on the first day and been like, I'm guilty, and gone straight to sentencing, and that was all he ever said,
right,
I don't think he would be anywhere near.
Yeah, because he got the maximum for everything.
Yeah. And I think there is a reasonable argument to be made that it seems, and again, I'm not faulting the judge. I'm really not. He has tried her patience.
Her patience, everybody else's patience.
Yeah, and been completely disrespectful to the families and everything else. But my whole point is, I think some of it, looking at it from an outside light, if you just look at the trial and take a step away from what he did and how he did it and everything else, if you just look at the trial, and like his actions there and the sentence that resulted, I think you could make a strong argument that this was a bit vindictive for his disrespect of the court, the trial, and the families during the trial.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
because he had 76 counts.
Yeah.
Counts of murder, a lot of endangerment. I mean, and it's all videotaped. Looking at this, he played with the court, but as they say, be your own lawyer, and your client's a fool.
Yeah.
He does not have a legal background. He is an evil monster and continues to be an evil monster. And it's really interesting comparatively to when the jury was there and when everything else was going on. And when he would start his crap. Because she had to move him out of the courtroom because he would not even listen to her speak.
Right.
Like, this is classic case of, primal abuser, narcissist that doesn't give a damn for any human being.
Okay, and I'm not saying that those things aren't true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying if he had shown up, kept his mouth shut, and literally said, "I'm guilty," sentence me, and never said another word.
Right.
I think he would have potentially had a fair number of those charges reduced or received, like, especially on the, 60 some other charges.
Right.
I think those would have consolidated down. He might have gotten 10 years for that.
Right.
I think there would have been a possibility instead of, because what was it, first degree murder?
It was first degree intentional homicide with the use of a
dangerous weapon.
Right.
I think if he had said nothing else,
right,
there is a possibility that the 6 counts of first degree intentional homicide might have even stepped down a degree.
Right.
Without, and that's if he said nothing, did nothing.
Right.
With an even half decent attorney.
Right.
Like, he could have pled down to less than this. And it's like, literally, just shut up, dude.
Right.
Just shut up.
Right. One, he should have pled guilty. Or 2, he should have kept his lawyers, because his lawyers are actually really smart. They originally moved for temporary, saying he was having a bipolar episode.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. That would have been a different court trial, but it wasn't.
Well, that wasn't what it became, but then there's also the question of how much of this is, like, how much of this resulted from, like, the continuation of a long-spanning bipolar episode being played out in a courtroom, unfettered, uncontrolled.
Right.
I mean, I'm granting that they've probably got him on medication, but I would almost see him refusing to take it.
Right. Because originally in June, Brooks entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. But his public defenders withdrew it in September. And then, because he refused to allow them to continue that plea and go through the investigation, and then they withdrew themselves after he fired them.
Yeah. Because there's nothing they could do for him.
Right.
Like, what do you want us to do?
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. If he had kept his mouth shut, and all he ever, like, even if all he had done is show up to the hearing and, just, I'm guilty, innocent, whatever, just one utterance in court of how do you plea.
Right.
And he opened his mouth for that and then shut up.
Right.
Never said another word.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be looking at a second-degree murder charge with 10 years for the consolidated counts.
Mm-hmm.
Without any major backlash or upset, throw in his lawyer gets him to read a decent apology.
Well, here's the
Like,
problem.
I'm sorry for my
We're looking at
actions.
over 50 victims.
Mm-hmm.
50 victims. He
Mm-hmm.
plowed through a parade.
Mm-hmm.
He never once.
Oh, I'm not saying what he did was
Right.
like, wonderful or justified or anything else, or these people were at fault or whatever. I'm just saying if he had shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just
This could have
shut
been a
up.
different case. This could have been a
Would've been
very different case, but it wasn't. The case presented, and he presented a good case, but the case that he presented was a fucking shit show compared to his behavior in court, how he treated the victims, how he treated his girlfriend that he ran down, how he got to question her. He got to question the other victims. One of them was like, had you ever had knee problems before you were supposedly hit by a vehicle? What?
Yeah.
Are you trying to argue that your SUV did not destroy my leg that is now amputated? So, I want to give a yell out to the victims of this. I hope you're able to. I felt the victim's impact statement is very moving. I thought the prosecution done a decent job.
Yeah.
Like prosecution done a decent job. Jury paid attention to what they were allowed to see.
Although I don't even think the prosecution had to do a decent job.
No, they could have done a shitty job.
Like, they could have just shown up and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he would have talked his way to the same verdict.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it, like, I'm saying it's appreciable that they continued to show up, do their jobs, and provide, a reasonable case. I'm just sitting here going, I don't think they really had to, though.
This is a case where he should have pled guilty, took the consequences, and moved on.
And probably would have had less consequences.
Probably.
Like, I'm sitting here going, I don't think he would have gotten 6 without parole, plus another, like, 700 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's what he would have gotten. I think he could have literally just shut up, pled guilty, and possibly been out in 30 to 40?
Yeah, possibly.
25 to 30?
Yeah.
Like, and again, because I think a lot of it is how he has acted is what really animated everyone else.
Yeah.
I think it's what made the victim impact statement so prolific and so strong and so angry. It's what, like, kind of tipped the hand on the judge and the jury.
Right.
Of, like...
And the public. Because
Yeah.
it's streamed. So the public also. But the other part of that was that when watching this and looking at this, I'm looking at this and going, okay, if any other human being got stuck in an SUV that had a malfunction within its, according to him, the gas pedal stuck, and he couldn't get it to stop, and he panicked. That was his story, and he stuck to it. Wouldn't you throw it into neutral? Wouldn't you force it, you disable the vehicle? It isn't that hard to do. You had opportunities 7 times to turn off this road. Then
I would think you would make other choices, yes.
Yeah. Even if that meant hitting a brick wall, which that is an option along this main drag. There are brick walls you could have hit before you hit a person. That's no problem with it. All right, guys, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be seeing if Joe's the asshole this week.
All right.
And for those that want to take part in the Are You an Asshole poll, be sure to go over and hit the YouTube link in the thing there so you can take part of that poll.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Welcome back, Goblins! My name is Jason, and I am the host of the Esoteric Book Club, a podcast that examines titles on the magical, paranormal, the mysterious, and the strange. I release 2 episodes a month in which I review books on esoteric topics, recap news of the weird, and conduct interviews with authors, practitioners, and experiencers. The Esoteric Book Club can be found on every major podcast service or can be streamed directly from esotericbookclub.org.
Hi, I'm Tracy Van. I provide a blended reading consisting of mediumship, psychic, and tarot cards. A reading from me can cover any guidance you need from relationships with your partner or your family, spiritual, financial, any questions you may need clarity on. If you would like to book an appointment with me, check out my website, tracyvann.com. That's TracyVann.com. I have bookings from 15 to 60 minutes you may choose from. That helps if you just have a quick question, need an answer, or if you're looking for a reading in more depth, I'm here to provide the guidance and clarity for you. Let's just figure it out. Bye.
Hi, Techie Joe here. I work with Aeson Knight, some of the best psychics in West Virginia, to create amazing live streams and podcasts for the Psychic Coffee Shop Network. Together, we brew up great content discussing news, events, hot topics, and more, all from a psychic perspective. On the Psychic Coffee Shop, we interview amazing authors in the metaphysical realm. Coffee and Tea combines Aeson with Tracy, Dottie, Natalie, or Lady Gwendolyn for the good and the bad of being a psychic. Shameless Self-Promotion with Dottie the Psychic talks to leading and emerging YouTubers and business owners in our community. Mountain Bears brings you the latest in LGBT news and politics. The Psychic That Plans answers the question of, well, how a psychic plans. Plus, we're live on air. We take your comments and your questions, including psychic advice questions. Check out our amazing programming, book an appointment with top psychics, and find out all the wonderful things we have to offer at PCSBnetwork.com today.
Hi, I'm Aeson Knight. I provide tarot readings covering everything from love and relationships to your life questions and your most spiritual answers. And also, I provide a lot of guidance in finances and divorces and all those relationship problems. So, if you'd like to get a reading from me privately, not on air, you can feel free to do so by visiting aesonknight.com and booking your appointment. I also provide on-demand services, so if your life is a little chaotic, you can go ahead and click that call now button there on my site. Great for a quick answer question. All right, guys, back to the show. Enjoy.
All right.
So, are you an asshole? Polls up. Let's hear plead the case.
I shall try. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend he was born in the wrong generation? It's Tracy, not the one in our comments, just so you know. 17. This post does involve a conflict between me and my boyfriend. I'm a girlfriend, obviously, but it has nothing to do with our relationship. Rules 6 and 10 out of the way. As I said, I'm freshly 17 and my boyfriend Tarak is 20, pushing 21. We're part of the same genealogical generation, Generation Z. I'm what they call a hopeful romantic. I like romanticizing my life in every way possible. Because of this, I come off as wanting my life to be like a movie. But that's not true. I want a happy start, climax, and ending. Skip the terrible times. Don't kill me to make me stronger. Screw the theatrics. Re-happen. That classic. Give me the real thing. Give me the magic. Let me watch my funeral before I die. Roll the credits. I'm trying to live my best life. Movies like The Polar Express, Tangled, Hannah Montana the Movie, Me Before You, Mean Girls, Tall Girl, Barbie, Life in the Dream House, From Justin to Kelly, and Beyonce's Renaissance Visual Project that are almost sickeningly happy through and throughout, at least from my admittedly naive perception, have inspired me to live happy if this was a movie. It's less of ignoring problems and more vibing and enjoying crying when you can. I've trained myself not to be sad because all this crying in my room is cute. Nothing new but my outlook. I'm telling you this useless information, help me, because I recently watched a movie that influenced a conversation with Tarak. I can't tell y'all the movie because I definitely get clowned Pennywise for it. So on that day, I had just gotten home from a cheerleading practice that unfortunately brought my spirits down more than I usually allow them to. I FaceTimed Tarak because that felt like the natural continuation of my plot. Near the start of the call, I remembered the movie I'd watched previously. I can't give off too much, but it involved time travel and age gap, or both to correct each such. I have said too much. Anyway, I told Tarak, your aura's moonstone. You should have been born in 1989. You were born in the wrong generation. What I thought was an interesting analytic of his personality is what he called he called me high. I was shocked, but still vibes. I had no idea he'd take so much offense at me implying that he's like a millennial. If you knew Tarak yourself, I'm confident that you'd think the same. Whatever, this was necessarily harmless drama for this chapter in my hopefully more than metaphorical story. Either way, I was already planning on how I was going to go about with treating Tarak as more of a 33-year-old than a 20-year-old. I expressed this all to him on FaceTime, and he was completely against the idea. As the argument got more and more heated, I told him that I hope our near future is like The Fault in Our Stars, because I really romanticized that. My character would be full of felicity. Okay, so might have been too harsh, but not to someone who hasn't read or watched the book film. Am I judgeable for my actions, or is it all just part of the script? What?
Is she an asshole for saying her boyfriend is
A millennial.
a millennial and not a Generation Z?
Yeah. I don't know. On that one alone, I think that was probably a not the asshole. I'm just like, that was insanity.
Okay.
That's not an asshole. Am I the asshole? Do I have a mental health problem and need to see a therapist severely? Yes, you have a mental health problem and you need to see a therapist quickly.
Well, here is again, it's one of those lingo things. She called her boyfriend old. Is she an asshole for calling her boyfriend old?
No. I don't think she is. Not in that regard. That was more of a compliment that he's very mature for his age and, to some degree. Unless she was trying to make some Gen Z millennial thing that but I'm just sitting here with what she has said. I don't even know. Like, it doesn't make any sense, really. I mean, I don't think she understood what she was saying when she said it, and it was funny to her,
Mm-hmm.
at least as she understood it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was funny to him because I think he was probably in the same boat of like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, no, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm very much,
I would hazard to state that she is an asshole.
Well, but I'm still, well, possibly, but I'm still just stuck on the whole, like, skip the, like, I don't think she gets how it works.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. She has a lot of depersonalization going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's like literally picturing herself like she's living in a movie, and it's
Right.
like that's not.
But see, that's what she's trying to cause to occur here, is for him to act and behave older than he is, which is a problem.
Yeah.
Treat him and is calling him old. Which, by the way, if you're dating somebody, dating tip here: never call them old.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, I'll wait for the sequel and see how it turns out.
Fair enough, Brenda. Fair enough.
Fair
I
enough.
don't know. I don't think any of this is going to turn out. I'm hoping he is wised up that he is dating a child.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as in, like, I mean, their ages are pushing, like, is this appropriate? Is this not appropriate?
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks like, she turned 17. He was 20 and is getting ready to turn 21.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right there in this is almost bad.
Right.
But no, I mean, it's like you're dating someone that isn't. I think, honestly, and this is kind of scary to say, I think as a 20-year-old, you're dating someone that really, truly is not adult enough for you to be dating because their view of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like overly hopeful.
Right.
It's not just overly, indulged or privileged or, unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this is someone who has like a very legitimate problem
Mm-hmm.
understanding any of how life works.
Right.
That, like, no, you're sitting here conditioning yourself not to be sad.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
More
I'm
so
sorry,
conditioning
no?
yourself to, be in a problem.
I mean, I'm sorry, you, like, it sounds like she's not even really in touch with reality.
Right. But she's
Like,
also
she's living the Truman Show, but there's no cameras.
right. So that's something to think about. So anyhow, let's see what our pollers had to say.
Whew.
No, not the asshole. And by the way, just FYI, this was a mouse chosen. Are you an asshole?
I was hoping it was at random, because if you had specifically picked that, we were going to have a conversation after about what the fuck was that?
Right.
Oh my goodness. So do we have a relationship advice?
We do have a poly relationship advice.
Okay.
It's there, but I'll send it again.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Now I see it. All right. Doesn't make a date with you, but keeps talking about first dates. So this is edited because the original was confusing. There's lots of nuance here. All right, so I'm a woman who primarily dates men in their 40s and 50s. They usually have kids and a
Nesting partner.
and tend to date only a few times a month. I'm clear up front that I'm looking for an emotional connection, not purely sexual, not just friend with benefits. And I'm looking to meet 2 to 4 times per month on average. At the outset, we seem to be looking for compatible things. I think people don't always have a good sense of how much time and energy they have, so they'll say they want to see me again, text frequently, but won't schedule plans for weeks on end. In that time, they do make dates with new people and often tell me about it unprompted, possibly because they tend to talk about it with everyone, possibly because they want to seem in demand, who knows. I don't expect someone to stop dating new people just because they met me. In fact, that would be worrisome. But I often get mixed messages. If a connection seems great at first, but then fizzles, that's perfectly natural and expected. Or they may meet someone they have a stronger connection with. What's confusing is when we're still in communication, still flirting, they either ask for a date or I do, but they take weeks to schedule it. To me, this says they aren't sure if they want to continue, but if I ask directly, they say they do. I've since realized that some of these connections were with relationship collectors, which makes sense. Those are the people who are out doing a lot of dating.
Mm-hmm.
I think the respectful way to handle it is to tell someone it's not realistically going to work out instead of putting them off indefinitely for weeks on end. Am I wrong? Huh?
I cut to the chase. I don't think you're wrong. I think you're dating people who do not technically have time to date.
I don't know. I feel like she's getting pissed because she's getting what she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you tell me you only want to meet 2 to 4 times per month on average,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that tells me you're not looking for something to move quickly or to be very serious.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're kind of going to inevitably have someone that is gonna have to cool their jets in between meetings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you can't do like 2 dates in 1 week because
Right.
then you can't see them.
Right.
And you're going to get overly involved. Like you want an emotional connection. You don't really want like
Right.
the constant.
Right. But I think that she also needs to look at what she's telling them. Oh, I can't date this week. I'll see you next week. Oh, I can't this week. I'll see you next week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can see you on the third Thursday of the month is my time. Oh, maybe next month. Maybe next month. Of course, they're going to go and do more.
Well, there's that. And then there's also just the, like, I don't know. I think maybe this is one of those situations that, like, maybe she's being clear as mud up front instead of clear up front.
Right.
And it's just not really registering what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you say you wanted, it seems to almost be where they're at.
Right.
Versus what you actually want, which is a little more than what you're saying.
Right.
Like you're trying to make this a very cool, calm, casual thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a couple times a month we'll see each other and go on like a date.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, that would probably work better for friends with benefits or like, something more that kind of casual.
Right. Or a comment situation.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I don't know, look for someone in their 40s and 50s with a parent with dementia.
Right.
That's probably where that's going to work out best.
Yeah. And it's lovely. They show up on time, they leave on time.
Yeah, they do. Because it's too expensive to be late. Because seriously, arranging care is expensive, and like, don't disrespect that. No. Just for those out there who like, no, seriously, if you're dating someone who's in that situation,
Mm-hmm.
do not fuck with them.
Mm-mm.
Like, you do not know how much that costs.
Right.
Like those agencies, like you go on a 4-hour date.
Mm-hmm.
like that is $21 an hour.
Right.
And that's at least 30 minutes on either side of that they're also having to pay for like to get to and from and everything else.
Right.
Be kind
Yes.
is what I'm saying. So yeah, I don't know. That's the only advice I can come up for that one.
The other part is be
you're
more clear about your expectations. I'm looking to date someone 2 to 3 times a month. I have a Wednesdays available, and I expect my first and second date to occur within the same month.
Okay.
That's very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and she may also be having problems because, like, the way she's phrased it, I don't know. Some people may be looking for like 2 dates back to back to really make a decision.
Right.
But then if you try to space them out to meet what she's wanting,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would almost be like 50 first dates at that point.
Right.
Of like, I kind of forgot about you. So
Right.
now we had to spend a whole other date learning about you for me to try to yet again decide if I like you enough for a next date.
Right. I also have a rule: if the dude isn't got a plan, then I don't have a plan either.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to like let people come to you.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the other part is she is like pursuing people.
Right.
Is almost how it sounds, and maybe I'm getting the wrong message from what she's saying, but it sounds like she's pursuing them to try to like nail down a second date.
Right.
And like they're kind of answering her that like, you know, dude, I'm sorry, I don't really fit your bill.
Right.
But then they don't want to be rude and like get into the what's wrong with me? Why don't you like me?
Right.
Because everyone hates that conversation because the only appropriate thing to say is it's not you, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lie, and everyone knows it's a lie. It means it's totally you, but I'm nice, and like it's not like you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're totally bonkers, batshit, out the fucking mind. Like, no, it's just like this just isn't gonna work, and I'm not feeling the connection, and I don't think I can be who you want me to be.
Exactly. And I'm looking for someone a little bit more invested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what she's looking for is going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Granted, I have no idea because this is kind of the other part is they're dating people 40 to 50, but we don't really know, like, how old are you?
Yeah.
Like, is this another, like, hi, I'm 18, I
don't think so.
I don't know. It kind of has a little bit of that sound, just like not quite so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't a level of cluelessness. I don't think it's just like, yeah, you're looking for something a little different,
right?
Which doesn't really fit into the dating box as much as it really does kind of fit in the friends with benefit box.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. And I can't find anything to quickly tell me, like, where are they on the age?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
All right. So, Patreons, you do have, let me make sure that it's, Patreons, you can actually see the car that everyone, I do mean everyone, said no to.
Oh, hooray.
Because I went and found the exact copy on sale, still today.
I think that should be your first clue. There's a problem.
No, it's not the same car.
Oh, okay.
I searched the parameters, and it came up, and this one's actually cheaper and closer. It's only in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Oh, did we get the video from earlier? Are we going to have our outro tonight?
We did not get the video for earlier for our outro.
Oh, okay.
We will.
It was so cute, though.
Uh-huh. It was. You want to tell everybody that missed it what we're talking about?
No, I want to wait for them to see it.
Okay.
Please go see it.
Uh,
Like, you can start at like the halfway mark or even later, and like, because it's really only like the last 3 minutes there that we would be using, but like, it's flipping hilarious.
Yep.
Yes, it was great.
The cutest stuff.
comments.
Yeah, the cutest stuff.
The cutest stuff. Yes.
Yeah. We played on Zoom. We won't be doing it.
Oh, Brenda loves
the car. Do I get a yes, Brenda?
No. Yes, we were playing earlier. It was a hoot. Like, and I think that was honestly the point of what we were actually needing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was so just bland and boring and annoying at that point that trying to, like, we just finally lost it.
Yeah. Like, I'm waiting for the response from that brand communication.
Oh, Brenda says no, you cannot have it. No. Damn it. All right, Brenda said yeah. Shannon says cute for a summer car. Yeah, summer full of speeding tickets.
No.
Summer Aeson got a neck brace and a wheelchair.
I've owned this car before, except red.
Summer that Aeson learned how to use a sip and puff. Oh, he would try to drive it in the snow.
I've driven this car in the snow. It drives fine in the snow. It has the same problem as the Fiat.
It's the what?
Same problem as your car had.
The Festiva.
Yes.
It doesn't have... No, it doesn't. Like, the Festiva problem was the car had so little actual weight.
Mm-hmm.
It drove on top of snow.
Uh-huh.
It just, like, compacted it down. It would not get through the snow. Like, you couldn't get it to dig.
No, it doesn't
just
dig.
Across the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's always fun, because if the car broke traction, you were in a slow motion skid into a ditch.
Mm-hmm. But again, how often do I drive in the snow anymore?
Too much. Oh, 100 plus miles per hour. I quit looking then. In a vet with the top off, Joe, brother driving. No neck brace yet.
Yeah.
Well, some people have skills.
Mm-hmm. All right. So for this vehicle, it does 60 in 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
At a quarter of a mile.
Mm-hmm.
The max it can go is 100 kpms, 100 miles in 14.4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Average is 83.3 miles.
Oh, good deal. Excuse me.
See, so I can't go too fast.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
It only has 265 horsepower.
Oh, only?
Yes.
Only 265 horsepower.
My Grand Prix had twice that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Aeson would look so pretty in it, because that's a reason that Consumer Reports supports buying a vehicle. But never forget the pretty score.
Yes.
Yeah. What's its safety rating?
All right. So the IRHS.
It's bad, isn't it?
No.
It's not bad.
Crash rating. Overall side is good. Rear passenger head protection is not so good. Rear passenger torso is good. Oh, marginal. It has no poor safety ratings.
I'm sorry, marginal?
Marginal. None of it is poor.
Marginal is poor.
No, there are two different scales, thank you. There is marginal or poor.
Oh, well.
Here, I will send it to you.
Pretty in it is important, Joe. This is not Tu Wong Fu, Brenda.
What? Max is gorgeous.
Not Tu Wong Fu.
There you go.
All right. Marginal. Overall rear end is marginal. You're only acceptable for right leg foot, so you end up with an amputation. Oh, excuse me, you don't get an amputation. You just get it crushed and pinned back together. Driver torso, you could end up sitting in both the driver and the passenger seat. Rear passenger head protection, don't even get in the back. Dynamic rating is marginal. Seat head restraint geometry. You could get decapitated.
All
right.
It has front impact airbags, a security
It
system.
doesn't say deadly.
It doesn't. It has side impact airbags, seat belts automatically tighten to place the occupant in the most optimal seat position during a collision. And
to be found dead in.
Okay. So let's look up somebody else's.
Oh.
Let's go for Kia Soul.
2016. Like, send it over.
I'm getting there. Here's where I can buy it. Where's the safety? There we go.
Safety. Crash ratings. It is 5-star for everything but passengers and overall rollover rating, which it is 4 stars. You go down. Structure and safety cage is acceptable. And everything else is good. I know this. I looked all this up before I bought it.
But let's check its recalls.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad. There's 3. High exhaust temperatures may damage the catalytic converter, possibly resulting in abnormal engine combustion and damage to one or more of the engine's pistons and possible piston connecting rod failure. Yep.
Next one.
hold on. It reset the whole page when I did that. Where is it? Okay. What?
Yeah. It won't show the other 3 unless you buy them.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway. Yes, I'm a soccer mom. Did you not know this? Like, I wanted a minivan when I went to college. I tried to talk my dad into buying me a minivan. I'm not kidding. I looked at the next 4 years of my life and went, I'm going to be moving all my crap from here to there to here to there to here to there to here. And I went, a minivan makes good sense. I can fit everything in one trip. Like, I can lock it down because, like, I left West Virginia in a Ford Festiva. I had a brief moment, a very dumb moment, but a very brief moment where all I wanted, like, I could have been bought off so easily. All I wanted was a 2000 Ford Escort 5-speed. Oh, if I'd had the van, I could have lived in it. It would have made that like flipping week when I decided to take a damn when I came back from a semester off of college. Would have made that first week wonderful when I didn't officially have housing. Like, ugh. But yes, I could have lived in it. It would have, yeah. But no, I just wanted. Like the.
Well, when I first left West Virginia, I was driving a 1994 Dodge Shadow.
Ew. Oh, see, Shannon's like, that's why my family wouldn't get me a van.
And then the second time I left West Virginia, I was driving a Chevy Celebrity. I don't remember the year on it.
That was an 80s to 90s special.
Like,
no, I remember those. Yeah. Like Chevy Celebrity. What was the Buick equivalent? Because they were identical cars. Was it the Buick New Century?
No.
Or the Buick Century?
Buick Century.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I remember because actually the person I was dating in high school had the Century. For about a month. Like, they got their driver's license, got the car. Their family took this to the beach, and they got rear-ended at the beach and totaled the car. They never got home from the beach.
Oh, goodness.
Like, you want to talk about ticked. They were so ticked. They had that car for like a month. And it wasn't even their fault. Like, totally not their fault.
Right.
But anyhow, I'm sorry. It's a car I'll always remember. I had a neighbor who owned the Celebrity. And they put so many engines in that car, I swear to God. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they blow up easy. But no, the vehicle that I've got my specs on is that one. But, we will see, because right now we're sharing vehicles and I've got a car payment. After the car payment and after Joe gets his car, then we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, I don't know. I may be ready for another fucking minivan. Or for my first minivan is what I should say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting to get there again really quickly. Is like, my life would be easier with a minivan. Our lives would be easier with a minivan.
But it isn't.
A minivan makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Why not?
It's the same reason why I don't need a 4-bedroom house.
What?
It's the same reason I don't need a 4-bedroom house.
That
You have a
makes no sense.
minivan, everybody wants to haul with you. You get to be the group one.
Oh, so much room for activities.
Bullshit.
Yeah. No, well, see, here's my thing though, is like they've started to get intelligent in making the minivans, because now they have like you can open the doors on it and just spray the fucker out with a hose.
Yeah.
Like, I'm down for that.
No.
Just hose the fucker down.
Okay.
Like, no, seriously, I'm there for it. I am. I was never about a fashionable vehicle.
They're hard to work on. The engine or transmission die. It's a lot of upkeep. They suck in the snow. They rust out on the bottom. You literally, it becomes a garbage bin of people leaving crap in it because there's room and they.
Oh, Brenda said, if you can haul though, Joe, everyone calls you all the time. But Shannon then said, sounds like Joe the morning after a drunk date night. Kidding.
Truth. But, you know, I've had a minivan before. I've had 2. I'm done with my minivan phase. I don't want one. I want something small, something I can quickly get in, get out of, something that is easy to manage, something that there isn't room to be junked up in, something that I can get up and go.
Well, then fine. I want a Ford F-350 diesel.
Dually 2 or just...
No, I don't want dualies. I do want the extended cab and the 8-foot bed. Fine. If I can't have a minivan, by God, I want a big ass motherfucking truck. That way my sister and I can have twin license plates.
No. Oh, no, you can't get that because Mom can't get in it.
Oh, whatever. She can too.
She
got into my sister's.
Again, in the
yes,
winter,
she did.
Again, in the winter, she cannot get in it.
Yes, she can.
No, I think we get you another Sportage, and we get Aeson his grocery getter around town when he feels like driving car and just hang it up.
Brenda, can I get an F-350 diesel? Because she looks like she'll say yes.
Yeah. And, you know, this is the more important part.
Yeah, it's hard to get them in for maintenance. I will go used and older.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've already been told, skip the Power Stroke diesel series entirely. Like, that's some bullshit.
Uh-huh.
Apparently Brenda gets road rage, and yes!
Well, again,
I'm getting a $70,000 truck. No,
you're not, unless you get a $70,000 job and I get to go back to living on Avon money.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, man.
No.
Yeah, finding people to work on them is difficult.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard when your truck qualifies as a, commercial vehicle.
Right.
I mean,
Go back to Marketplace and I'll look and see what I can for you.
But let me tell you right now, I've learned from my sister that if you get pissed off while you're driving one of those, people get the fuck out of your way.
No, they don't. But no, I was looking earlier and I thought a nice Tacoma or a nice another Kia Sportage would do you well. You like the Sportage, you like the space, you like its abilities. We ain't
Yeah,
getting
I'm
it from
thinking,
here because I recognize the dealer, and it's like, oh, we ain't dealing with this shit again.
yeah, no. But no, I can do a Sportage. I'm cool with the Sportage.
Mhm.
I want to go newer.
Yeah.
Like I think I like the newer Kia Sportages.
Mhm.
Like I'm okay with ours. Like I'm okay with it, but I do like the newer ones a little more.
Right.
Like I think they're just a touch bigger
Right.
in all the right places.
Mm-hmm. Either that or a Ford Escape. I really like the Ford Escapes. I think you would like them too.
My only problem with it is I've known someone who has totaled 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And both times it was like that car crumpled. Like it just
out of metal.
Do what now? Well, I mean, granted, the last time they did get hit by a garbage truck,
right,
that backed into the front end of them at a high rate of speed,
right.
But yeah, it literally it popped the motor through the firewall,
right,
crumpled the front end,
right.
Like both vehicles that they had, because they totaled one and bought another one and then got into an accident with that one.
Right.
And both times it just destroyed the front end.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no hope of fixing it.
Right. And see, for me, I want one or two things. I'm either getting me another luxury sedan, because you can't kill those fuckers, or I'm going to go ahead and get me a small sporty car.
Okay. I don't know. I don't want to go small. I never wanted to go. Like, I love small vehicles. I really have, but I'm really, like, I don't know. It's something, I guess, about getting older.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really starting to miss, like, the Mercury Sable.
Okay.
Like, as in having the big vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, I'm comfortable. It hauls whatever the hell I need to put in it.
Uh-huh.
But handled really well. Because I'll give the Sable credit. By 03, they had finally gotten that thing to a point that it handled like a much smaller car.
Mm-hmm.
It was not hard to drive. It scared the hell out of me the first time I saw it in my grandmother's driveway, and I went, oh God, she's never going to be able to drive that.
Mm-hmm.
It drove exactly like the Ford Escort with a couple of extra inches. You know, if you allow a couple extra inches, it handled almost the same.
Yeah.
It really was difficult.
See, I really like the Caddy. I really like the Roadmaster. I really like the LeSabre. I really like the Town Car, and I really like the Grand Marquis.
You're not going to get me to do a Buick. I'm sorry, you're not going to get me to do a Buick. That air ride suspension fucks with my head. I can't get used to it. I feel like honest to God, every time I drive a Buick, it feels like I'm hydroplaning.
Mm-hmm.
And it scares the ever-loving hell out of me.
Okay.
I can't get used to that feeling of I'm just floating on a cloud. It feels like I'm about to float my happy ass off the side of a mountain. Like, I hate it. It scares the hell out of me. It's too comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's too floaty. It feels like my front end is losing traction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. And no, I'm not getting a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, I do.
I know it is the gayest car in the world. I'm not getting it. Not because it's the gayest car in the world, but for exactly what you said. I am 5'11". I do not fit in vehicles meant and intended and built around the idea that people are 5'6" or shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just doesn't work for me. I hurt myself. I hurt myself getting in. I hurt myself getting out. I hurt myself driving them. I end up feeling like I am basically knee hugging the steering column
Mhm.
and just praying to get there.
Right. Right.
And considering I put a lot of mileage on my vehicles,
Right.
I need to be a little more comfortable.
Right.
But
yeah. And see, that's why I'm like, oh, the Sabre wouldn't be bad, but we'll be car shopping next year. We still got payments on the one we've got contracted now.
I
But
know.
unless we find a really good deal, then I'll just go get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, this is 2.5 hours.
It is. We hope you guys enjoyed this extra long show. We've done this for a little bit of a reason. One, we played with y'all earlier with the Zoom, and you guys really hung in there.
You did.
Yeah.
We appreciate that so much.
Yeah. So, thank you guys. Thank you, our Patreons. We'll see you back on Sunday for Psychic That Plans. I'm going to be expanding my planner because projects are expanding. I want to remind everybody that Modern Spiritualists, my classes are right now $9.99. And that will be for a little while longer than a week, just because I'm in a mood. So if you want those classes, go get those classes. And the ones we have up, I will be launching some new classes sometime next week. Let me hit the preview. Now, once the sale is over, I will not be listing my classes unless they're a launch class for this price again. But let me go ahead and get you that link out. If you want to go get those, go enjoy those, go for it.
Absolutely.
And those are on demand, meaning you watch them, you work at your own pace. The only one that has a hold up is my astrology class, and that's because you get an astrology chart. So if you've been wanting to get an astrology chart, go take my astrology class and you'll get a free chart.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yep.
Alrighty.
All right. Off to you, Vanna.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Dottie the Psychic, Tracy Van, Donna White, Caitlin Bell, and the Laughing Tree Grove. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit pcspnetwork.com.
Yes. And you guys have an amazing weekend. We'll see you Sunday at 8. Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.